Duelist Club for life.
Hello everyone, my name is Blake representing the Duelist Club, and today I have something a little bit special for you. I am doing the Cosmo, my Cosmo profile deck. Now I do want to, I am going to do something I have not done before. I'm going to show you a bit of combos with this deck, because a lot of these cards in here are going to be essential to basically kind of spam your big Cosmo monsters. I don't want to put in too much, I don't want to put in too many spoilers right now. I just want to go ahead and show you this deck, and I'm going to go kind of fast, mostly because I've been doing this a bit. I've been trying to record this video a couple times, and I just haven't felt proud of it, so I'm trying to do it a little bit differently than I normally do. So I hope you guys like this, and let's go ahead and begin. So for our first three big monsters, you want to run the 3 Cosmo Dark Destroyer. This card, when summoned, pops a card, and whenever destroyed and sent to graveyard, you special summon a monster from your deck. Pretty simple. Then I also run 3 Slip Rider. Slip Rider pops a card from back row, and also does the same effect once destroyed. Is special summon. You can banish this card and special summon 1 Cosmo from your deck. And then I also run 2 Forerunner. I would not run any more than 2, because right now this deck is just crazy good already for what it can do. So no, I would definitely not run any more than 2. Just go ahead and keep it at 2 or 1. 1 is okay as well. I also run 1 Dark Eclipser. You don't have to run this card if you don't want to. I just find it a little bit better. It's also kind of hard for your opponent to get around this card anyway. I'm sorry if you can't see the art or anything, but usually this card's more just for back row use, and just a nice beef stick for your opponent to struggle with. So then I'm going to go into the small monsters, which is here's an absolute necessary. You need your 3 tin can, and a lot of people, from what I've seen, a lot of people say you just win the game, and that's pretty much essential. Like, you win the game. Now, the reason for if you are playing Cosmos and you do not feel that it's working well and you're playing pure, I do not play pure Cosmo. I'll show you that in a little bit, but this card's really good, mostly for using it on your opponent's turn, and whenever you can pay 500 life points to target 3 random Cosmo card, or target 3 Cosmo cards, and your opponent randomly chooses 1. So whenever your opponent tries to do anything to you, you can banish this. You can banish this off to special summon your Cosmo monster in your opponent's turn, and that's what kind of makes it good and sets it off. And then the rest of the cards go to the graveyard, but you're okay because there's always some nice back row support. And then I run one straw man for the banishing effect mostly, and the same thing for Cosmo Farm Girl. Sometimes her secondary effect as well, to pay 500 whenever this card attacks, to pay to search for a Cosmo card. But those 2 aren't as important as Tin Can, because Tin Can is like the best card ever in this deck. Then I also run my artifacts. So I run 2 Scythe. Scythe is whenever it's special summoned, your opponent can't activate cards from the extra deck. And then I also run 1 Melitech. Whenever this card is special summoned, it pops a card, which is just amazing. Just absolutely love it. And then we're gonna go on to spells. 3 Cosmojo, absolute necessary. Necessary to run 3 Cosmojo, or not Cosmojo, Cosmotown. I don't know why I'm saying that. Cosmotown, mostly just to get out, just to put shuffle your cards back, Cosmo monsters back into the deck, or getting your banished monsters out to your hand, which a lot of the times it's very necessary anyway. Then I run 3 Card of Demise. Most people think that this is this card's really good for the deck, especially whenever you're trying to summon on your opponent's turn. Special summoning on your opponent's turn is perfectly fine, especially when using this, because you could just normal summon Tin Can, activate this, get your 3 cards out, place back row, and then end your turn there, and you got yourself a setup. You're good. You're good. And then I also, in addition to that, I also run 2 Duality to search for, I don't know, Tin Can or any big monster. If you have Tin Can in your hand and you feel that you're fine and you might want to get a big monster out, or, you know, or if you want to, or if you pull one of your artifacts, you know, that's always a nice thing to have. 2 Called by the Grave, because it's great. I don't know why you wouldn't run Called by the Grave. It's amazing. I play 1 Emergency Teleport, 1 Reasoning. You can play, if you don't want to play Reasoning, you don't have to. And then I play 1 Monster Reborn. Reasoning is kind of a card that I chose to add just in case your opponent, just in case you don't ever get your special summoning off anyway. So just in case, you don't have to play it. It's totally your opinion. And then I also play 3 Artifact Sanctum to get your artifacts out. The best card to use to stop your opponent. You can also run Artifact Ignition if you want. I was actually considering running that to 2, mostly just because it's a great card to pop your opponent and pop your own cards, so you can special summon your artifacts easy. Then 3 Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is pretty simple. Special summon all of your Cosmos as fast as possible. With the addition of the special summoning, I would definitely run 2 back to the front, but I do not have 2 right now because I lost my other one. So I'm running the Oasis. It doesn't really matter. This is just a continuous card right now. This the only difference is this is continuous and it makes your monsters a worm. But if you run, I'd rather run 2 back to the front anyway, because it just gets your opponent, your monster out and doesn't do anything else. It doesn't stay on the field. So I would definitely run 2 or 3 back to the front, in honestly, so you can just keep your monsters out on, so you can special summon your monsters. And then finally, I run 2 Cosmojo for banishing purposes, and then effects on banishing, or effects on popping your popping your Cosmo monsters. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna go pretty fast on the extra deck because you don't really need to do anything with this too much. You can. The extra deck's more just for fun. Cyber Dragon Infinity with the Nova, of course, and then I have number 61. Number 61 would go from Gaia Dragon, so you can easily special summon this effect if needed, and then go into this, and go into Gaia Dragon to do piercing damage if possible. Number 11 Big Eye, Flare Metal. You can also run Constellar Platius, and if you want, you can also run your artifact Drindle, I think it's called. So definitely run one of those. I do not have that right now, I'm sorry. But if you do run one of those, run some of those as well. I also run 42 just in case you want to get your links out. Additional with Link Karibo always. Clifford Genius, great card, not too bad. Then you got your Phantom Knight, or your Nightmare cards. You can. I would definitely run Unicorn if I had one, because I don't have a Unicorn, and it's kind of like, it's like $30 right now, so I just don't have a Unicorn, so I would definitely run Unicorn for this. But like I said, the extra deck is not needed as much, so if you can't even afford it, it doesn't really matter anyway. It's just something that helps you a bit. Decode Talker, I just added that for the Unicorn just for right now as a placeholder. And then I also run 1 Topologic for just for level 4 material. You don't really want Topologic I would rather have like Borolo Dragon or Borolo Sword. Mostly that's like the best option anyway. So let me go ahead and show you what a combo looks like. So with a combo, you would most likely have, I'd hope, you'd have a tin can out in the field, or a tin can in your in your hand. I'm sorry, a tin can in your hand. Hopefully, maybe like a Call by the Grave. That's always a good card to have. Sanctum's really good to have in there. And then if you have like Demise, and also the best way to do this is to go first. Like this right here, this is one of the best hands you could probably have, because this is just good setup play. This is just like, you know, you could easily go into, you could activate Cosmo Town to set this, and then go ahead and normal summon your Cosmo Tin Can, set these 2 cards down, and then wait a turn, and then go ahead and activate your card of Demise. And the next turn, what you'd be doing after you activate card of Demise, whatever cards you do draw into, I'm hoping it's something good, of course. If not, if it goes to the graveyard, that's perfectly fine. So say you drew one Forerunner and like one Slip Rider, you're still pretty fine, mostly because you have something to bring it back with, so it's not too bad. But after after that effect hits, then you activate Cosmo Tin Can's effect to pay 500 to search for your big guys. So you could you have plenty of options depending on what your opponent's doing. So you could, if your opponent has is setting a bunch of trap cards, then you can obviously go ahead and you could grab a Slip Rider, and then you can grab a Dark Destroyer, and you could also grab a Forerunner or a Dark Eclipser. One of those cards if you want. And then depending on what your opponent chooses, it really doesn't. I hope it really doesn't matter. But whatever your opponent randomly chooses, that card's going to help you a lot and save you. And then also during their turn, you activate Sanctum, so they can't special summon special summon Scythe or Morotech. It really depends. Like, I think Scythe is much better, honestly, because your opponent especially if you're going up against Thunder Dragon, your opponent cannot deal with this card. If your opponent's playing Thunder Dragon, they can't handle this card, mostly. I mean, because this stops your opponent from even searching the extra deck, and it's almost a free win for that turn. I mean, they can't do anything. So it's just great. I love it. I love this card. Of course, the Thunder Dragons would probably have some sort of way to back it up, of course, for some reason. I'm not sure, but this is a good card to have, mostly for to stop your opponent from doing that. And I know Thunder Dragons are like really scary right now, and everyone wants them because of that reason. Then you can always use I'm sorry, this board is a mess. I'm just trying to go through it as quick as possible so you guys can see it. And then you could also add Called by the Grave and those cards that whichever monster was chosen by your opponent, you can choose another monster and special summon those. I'm gonna clear the board real quick, but yeah, it's just it's really good for what you're playing. So with Called by the Grave, you could just easily, with those 3, just like if you chose any of these 4 monsters, you special summoned one, and then you get to special summon another, activate its effect, and plus then you also get your effect of Sanctum to stop your opponent. It would be amazing, and that's what kind of hurts your opponent. That kills your opponent, actually, most of the time anyway. I don't have a side deck for this, because side decks are normally the side deck for this. The side deck is kind of your opinion. You can definitely put in Macro Cosmos if you want, and then but I think Macro Cosmos might slow down the deck a bit if it comes out first turn, because then you can't use your Call by the Graves. which is totally fine, of course. I mean, you can always just keep recycling Tin Can if you get Cosmo Town, but I mean, that's also, it's just a good side deck card, or if you want to main that, it's okay, I guess, as long as you don't summon it, as long as you don't activate it first turn, just set it. But yeah, that's actually, this is one of my favorite combo decks right now. It's really good. I promise you, it works so much better. It just, I love Cosmos. Whenever I was first playing this deck, I ran pure Cosmos, and I wasn't running artifacts at all. And it really was, it was just slow. It was absolutely slow, and I didn't really, I saw people doing this, I saw people using artifacts, and I didn't realize that I didn't realize how good it was, how good the effects of everything would turn out if you used artifacts. And I didn't really understand the effects of, like, Tin Can all that well until I figured out, like, the Call by the Grave really helps, and everything, in special summoning and trying to stop your opponent from doing stuff, it just really helps. Also, except Slip Rider, these 3 big monsters can't be targeted, which is just amazing. So, I mean, and then they have graveyard effects once destroyed, and it just special summons more. It's just crazy what this deck can do. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you like this video. Some of the cards in this deck are a bit expensive. I didn't go over that, but I'm hoping you are a little bit aware of some of the prices in this deck. It's just not too, especially this card anyway. It's just kind of expected. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.